I told my dad to break up with his girlfriend or to leave me alone. This story came July 30th, 2025. For context, my father is dating a younger woman who openly wants to have kids. He has 3 adult children and also openly doesn't want more. Some time ago, they decided to wait a few years to see if either of them would change their minds about it. Otherwise, they would break up. I told my father it was a bad idea, but he didn't care. I'm pregnant. This will be my and my husband's first baby, as well as the first grandchild on both sides. So we're all very excited. But my father's girlfriend has been extremely over the top. She takes every shot she can to try to get involved in my pregnancy. To give a few examples, she calls me almost every day with name suggestions or parenting tips. Anytime I tell her and my father about something I'm planning for the baby, she feels the need to explain what she would do or what she would buy instead. She frequently asks me whether I'm having a boy or girl because apparently she has different shopping lists for both of them. We know the sex and name, but we won't announce either until the baby is here. She has asked whether she can attend one of my ultrasounds to see what it's like. Dealing with her has been very overwhelming. Even if she's just being caring, we were never even remotely close before my pregnancy, so she's been making me feel very uncomfortable. On Saturday, I stopped by my father's place to pick up some of my old stuff. When I got there, he was having an argument with his girlfriend. They said it had to do with my baby, so they explained it to me. My father's girlfriend wanted him to turn either the guest bedroom or the home office into a nursery to make it easier for them to babysit my child. My father did not want to get rid of either. I tried to be polite about it at first. I told them I wasn't planning on having them babysit, and I probably wouldn't use their hypothetical nursery when there was a perfectly good one over at my place. But my father's girlfriend said they had been waiting so long for there to finally be a baby in the family, and she wanted to spend as much time as possible with my child. That is when I lost my patience. I said, I understand that they disagreed on having a baby, but that it wasn't my problem. So I told them to either break up or leave me alone because I am done dealing with this. The next day, my father called me. He said he understood I was frustrated and that he agreed his girlfriend has been going too far, but argued that she's just excited and trying to help me, and I'm being rude to her for denying it so firmly. He's especially upset about what I said because his relationship is none of my business and I apparently had no right to comment on it. My husband is on my side and so is my brother. My sister is pretty neutral. The more I think about it, the more mixed feelings I have. Am I the a-hole? Lila's hopping on hydration station. I don't know if you guys can hear her. You go, girl. You drink that water. You stay hydrated. We need you here. Her 13th birthday is coming up on Friday. Lila's birthday is Friday, February 6th, in case you want to celebrate. She's 13. My baby. Now, apparently OP was answering a lot in the comment section, so maybe it'll help us, figure out how we feel about the situation. Someone commented and said, has your dad had a vasectomy? Any chances of an accident happening? OP said, I don't know whether he's gotten one, but if he hasn't, I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. Next comment, how far away do they live that you and your baby will be having sleepovers? OP said, about 20 minutes away, and no, my baby will not be sleeping over at my father's. The bassinet is in case we're visiting them and the baby needs a nap. It was my father's idea and I gave it the okay. All right, so obviously that came up in the comment section about having a bassinet at father's house, which makes sense in case the baby needs a nap when you're visiting. And then this is more of OP's feelings about the relationship. She said, I agree they're both in the wrong for thinking that they can get the other person to change their mind, and it's the reason why I never felt sorry for them. They're both adults who know what they're risking by staying in this relationship. A long time ago, I told my father that staying together was a waste of time. In retrospect, I admit that was harsh, but women don't have forever to get pregnant, and he wouldn't have the energy to raise a child in his 60s. So the only way for both of them to be happy would be if they broke up. He ignored me and said that people change and that the time they spend together is never a waste. Next comment. if she wanted to help you, she would be asking you what you want. She isn't. OP responded and said, I never thought she was trying to help me. Almost every time my father offers to buy something for my baby, she turns it into their gifts and swaps my request for the version of the one that she prefers. Last month, they gave me an expensive stroller that doesn't suit my needs because apparently her research said it was better than the one that I asked for. Oh, that would be frustrating. I've never been pregnant. Obviously, I can't personally relate to this journey of planning for when a baby comes, but I can imagine that would be if you're like, no, I just want this stroller because like that's what I need. And then they get you something else. But still grateful, right? It's still a stroller. I don't know. Moms, you're gonna have to chime in here. Next comment, you allowing your dad to lie to his girlfriend about potentially wanting kids is cruel. But if your dad doesn't even want a nursery for his grandchild, he's done raising kids and is lying to his girlfriend. He's only with her because he's stringing his girlfriend along, knowing he's already had a vasectomy. But we can't confirm that. OP wrote, he's not lying to her. She knows he doesn't want kids and he knows that she does. About 4 years ago, they agreed to wait a while to see if either of them would change their minds about it. And I never mentioned any vasectomy. Yeah, that's a bold assumption to assume that someone has done that. Like, we don't know this man. We have no idea. And his daughter might not necessarily know that personal information. The next update came 8 days later, August 7th. I went through your comments and I took the time to reflect a little more about this. I think I was too tired and frustrated when I wrote my first post, so I wanted to have a clear head before dealing with everything. As exhausting as it has been to deal with my father's girlfriend, I know how to manage it. Calls can be ignored, messages can be muted, and excuses can be made. I've done all of the above before. The real problem is to the point it's gotten to. I strongly believe in only cutting ties as a last resort, so the fact I'm actually considering blocking her scared me a little. I've only done that to 3 people before, and they did a lot worse than she did. I don't care what decisions my father and his girlfriend make about their relationship. I know what I would do in their shoes, but I don't have to tell them that. They're both adults who should know what they're doing by now. But whatever they do, I can't let it affect me and my child. And when I told my father I was done dealing with this, I meant it. My father and I had lunch on Tuesday, and I decided to bring this up. The first thing I told my father was that moving forward, I won't share any information about my pregnancy with his girlfriend. And after I had given birth, she won't babysit or be left alone with my baby at any point, nor should she expect to get more pictures or information than my father will get. He wasn't very happy with that, but I didn't leave a lot of room for argument. My father did, however, try to spin it into a discussion about how I don't like his girlfriend and that I act too cold to her. That is not true, nor is it the first time we've had this discussion. He always hated the fact that me and his girlfriend aren't close. Once that was done, I told my father that as much as I don't care what he decides to do, his relationship problems have spilled into mine and my baby's life, so I do have the right to comment on it. You know what's one point that's especially difficult? Yeah, I feel like I could relate to it in a way because I have divorced parents with step parents and stuff. And the one thing she keeps saying here is that she's not close with her stepmother, the girlfriend. That might, to consider stepmother is one thing, but the girlfriend, that figure in her life, to not have a close relationship and then you're pregnant for the first time and this person just keeps over inserting themselves would be so uncomfortable because you're not necessarily close to them in that way. We weren't close before I got pregnant. So yeah, I can totally see and understand why that would be very uncomfortable, especially with your first time being pregnant. I feel like that's a very personal and overwhelming journey, I'm sure. I told him that he needs to understand that even if he changes his mind about having kids one day, he doesn't really have a deadline to figure that out. His girlfriend is 40 years old and very much wants kids. At the very least, they do have to have an actual conversation about what they both want and then decide on how to proceed. But whatever they do, she will not get her motherhood fix through my child. My father agreed with me in the end. He said that he would talk to her, but I don't expect to hear more more about this anytime soon. Additionally, no plans for a potential nursery at his place are moving forward. He didn't want that either, so it wasn't hard to get him to promise that. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think this will end well for them. If they choose to stay together, at least one of them will end up unhappy. But like I told my father, I'm done. This is not my problem anymore. My only concern from now on will be making sure my baby is safe. Whatever happens, I have what it takes to deal with it. Let's check out what Reddit is saying now. Someone commented and said, your father is being unfair to the girlfriend about having a baby, but that is on the girlfriend to cope with. You're right to be cautious about who spends time alone with your baby. There are some crazies out there, and girlfriend could be one of them. OP said, I think both of them are being unfair. She's deliberately staying with an older guy who doesn't want more children instead of finding someone else who does. They both expect their partner to change their minds on this in a way that will only benefit them. So true. I feel like you really have to align on those things. I also understand, like, you're hoping, when you're in love with someone, you're hoping like, well, in a few years they might want kids, or they might, like they will have a change of heart. Because that happens all the time. There was a point in my life, trust me, in my 20s, I was dead set on I was going to be a mother and I wanted to be. And then as I started getting older, around 27, 28, I don't know, I can't explain it. It's just such a change of heart that I do not want children at all at this point in my life. And it's been that way for like the last 5 years. Will that change? How would I know? I don't know how I'm going to feel in a few years, but as of now, I don't. But I understand hoping that your partner will, but that can't be healthy, because what if they don't? Someone like sacrifices something they really want or don't want. Ugh. Life is tricky, man. This is what OP said on how she will handle hospital visits. She said, the hospital knows that we don't want any visits. My husband and I are seriously thinking of making exceptions for our mothers, but we're not sure yet. If we do decide to do that, we will plan accordingly. Next question someone asked was, does anyone in your family have a key to your place? OP said, no one but me and my husband does. We also live in an apartment building with good security, so it's impossible to just show up unannounced. That's good. You guys can have your privacy. We do have another update, and it came very recently, almost 6 months later, January 31st, 2026. Literally a few days ago at the time that I'm recording this. But first, I'm sorry, but not sorry, because I care about you. We have to hydrate. It's hydration station. Cheers.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Doing something you shouldn't be? Oh.
I remember telling myself I would write one final update once it was all over, and then I completely forgot about it. Life has been chaotic. My father did talk to his girlfriend back in August, and he said that she had told him she understood. It didn't seem that way from my end, but at least she stopped calling me. At that point, I was too pregnant and too tired to not take that as a win. I didn't hear much about them for the next few weeks, but I was told that they had started having problems again. My daughter was born in November. Oh, it's a girl. We originally didn't want visitors, but my husband and I did end up deciding to make exceptions for both of our mothers. No one else came. My father and his girlfriend met the baby a couple days after we brought her home. She saw my daughter twice, and it was hard to deal with both times, wanting to hold her all the time and hesitating to give her back to us, asking to change her diaper, which I shut down, pictures every 30 seconds. During the second visit, I said I needed something from the pharmacy, and she tried to convince me to let her watch my baby while my father and I went to go get it. I said it wasn't urgent, and I asked my husband to get it on his way home. 2 weeks after that, they broke up. That was in early December, and I didn't get details until right before Christmas. My father did talk to me about it a little, but he told my aunt everything, and I got most of the information that I have from her. They started fighting around September because my father's girlfriend had bought some baby stuff, including a high chair, baby proofing kits, diapers, and a baby memory book, which she had already filled with some of my information and the last ultrasound picture I sent my father. She said she was planning to use that to hopefully convince me to let her babysit. My father thinks she was also trying to convince him to let her set up a nursery again. They apparently broke up for about a week back in 2024 because I had gotten engaged and she tried to use that to convince him that they should have kids. According to my father, they got back together because they loved each other too much to give up on what they had. At my wedding later that year, she told my aunt she couldn't wait for me to have a baby. The actual breakup was dragged out for so long because none of their fights ever went everywhere. Knowing my father, I'm not surprised. About a week after the second time they visited my daughter, he and his girlfriend tried to invite us over, but we had already made plans. That was when she accepted that not only was I not willing to leave her alone with my daughter, but she also would not be seeing my baby as frequently as she wanted to. They broke up for good a few days later. I haven't heard much from my father's now ex since. She tried to ask me for pictures of my daughter around Christmas, which was when I blocked her. That was pretty much it. My relationship with my father is also a little less tiring than usual. But the best part of all of this is that I was not told about anything until after it was all over. At the very least, my request to be left alone was respected. Best of all, I didn't have to keep up with the drama while I was pregnant. I'll be done with my maternity leave in March, so for now, I'm getting to know my daughter. I can't even begin to describe how much I love this child. Oh my gosh, that makes me so emotional. People getting pregnant when they want kids is like, I will cry at every time I see a video of a woman finding out she's pregnant. I bawl my eyes out. All my friends are like, they have kids or they're starting to at this point in life. And I'm like, it is such a beautiful thing for people who want kids, and to see that, like, that blessing happen for them, I'll cry. I get overwhelmed just thinking about it. Again, thank you guys for everything. This is my last post, but she did answer some more questions in the comments. So let's check out a few. Someone commented and said, I wonder if she thought that you would hear her thoughts on parenting and see the scrapbook and legitimately just think, wow, she's really an expert at this. I'll just give her my baby. As though that was going to be the outcome. So she kind of just kept dating your dad to get your baby. That would be wild. That would be extreme. OP said, I can't be certain what she actually wanted, but I think she realized we weren't close and she probably wouldn't spend as much time with my baby as she wanted, which was why she wanted to babysit. The baby book freaked me out a little, not gonna lie. Especially if you're not close. Someone commented and said, did the ex-girlfriend keep the baby book? Yeah, like, did she give it to you? OP said, I'm not sure whether she kept it or not. I haven't been to my father's place since before their breakup. I don't know why she would keep that. Next comment, I would be worried because she put all your personal information in that book. OP said, oh, I'm not too worried about that. I think she just filled out memory book stuff, my and my husband's names, our family tree, my due date, etc. I bought a baby memory book for myself, and that's pretty much all you can fill out before the baby is born. There are sections about how you found out, how dad reacted, and more pregnancy stuff, but not much besides that. I don't think she wrote my social security number or anything. It freaked me out because why would someone fill out a memory book for a baby that isn't theirs? I wouldn't be as bothered if it was just a scrapbook or something like that. That's true. I was picturing it more like a scrapbook, but no, this is like a memory book for like the pregnancy details along the way. Next comment, good outcome, but an outcome that should have happened a lot sooner. They really dragged their feet. OP said, my father will always refuse to admit it, but he's bad at ending things, and I think they were very similar in that sense. From what I was told, every argument they had just played out the same. She would say she wanted a kid. He would say he didn't. They would fight. It wouldn't go anywhere. They would just stop talking to each other for 10 minutes and then just change the subject. Yeah, they're just avoiding the issue because they're waiting for someone to give in. They're waiting for each other to change their mind. And until that happens, you're gonna disagree. Crazy. Well, let me know what you think on this story, you guys. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. Bye.